Kev G with her overview looking at the event briefing summary from our National Weather Service. Check it out on their website for the Upton National Weather Service. I think this is a good um, synopsis of what's going on here. The heaviest snow in this situation is going to be for the coastal locations, and that includes the five boroughs, Long Island, Jersey Shore, and Connecticut coast. The further north and west you go, I think amounts are going to drop off precipitously, and that's due to the idea that the storm is a little bit out to sea, but close enough to give coastal communities moderate to heavy snow. I'm worried about the idea that the storm may track a little bit further west, and if that happens, I think that the city and five boroughs can get into double-digit snowfall totals. I'm very worried also about Long Island, where I think Nassau and Suffolk could get double-digit snowfall totals, especially Suffolk. I think it's a done deal out there. I think they'll get double-digit amounts. I think east of Islip and the Hamptons and Montauk, I think that they're in line for a very big storm. I think you're going to see crazy amounts out there of well over a foot. And I think the rest of Nassau and Suffolk, they really got to watch out for double-digit snowfall totals. We're dealing with a wet, powdery, fluffy snow. It's not going to be what we had on the first Friday of January where it was very wet snow. This is going to be the type of snow that sticks to everything. It's going to be a powdery nature with temps in the 20s. And all of this is being fueled by a very powerful storm. This storm is going to take on characteristics of a Category 2 hurricane. And that's because it's going to have very low barometric pressure out over the open Atlantic waters. And that's going to create a lot of wind, especially along the coast. I'm concerned that the parts of eastern Suffolk County that are closest to the storm could get into blizzard conditions for a time on Saturday afternoon. Now, I looked at the NAM model, and this is what it has. I think it shows very well the two things that I'm noting that are very significant with this storm. Number one, the very intense nature of the storm out over the open water, lashing the coast with snow and strong winds. And number two, the big drop off as you get away from the city. West of the Hudson River may see their snow end around lunchtime on Saturday afternoon, while east of the Hudson and along the coast, it's snowing for a good part of the afternoon. So this is by 7 a.m. I think snow starts between 4 and 7 a.m. In most places, and then by noon, the storm is really howling along and off the New Jersey coast. I mean, the pressure is just completely crashing in this storm, and it is sitting there just pounding the coast with snow and strong winds. And as we get to around 4 o'clock, this is when the storm starts to make its move. And west of New York City, you can see the snow is really letting up, but across Long Island, it's hanging on. And some of these snow bands could be dropping 1 to 2 inches an hour. And then by dark, I think we'll see, by about sunset, we'll see that the snow will start to drop off even in parts of Long Island as this storm really wraps up and goes on its merry way. We could see historic amounts of snow closer to Boston and Providence, where they're in line to get well over 18 inches of snow. So this is a complicated forecast. This is how I see it evolving based on everything that I've seen over the last 24 hours and just following the various models and the various forecasts. I think that the five boroughs and the city will see around 6 to 12 inches of snow. Again, with the idea that this storm stays on its current track. If it backs up any further west, I think that these amounts could be higher. I think you could see double-digit amounts. For Nassau, I think that the further south and east you go, the more liable it is that you'll see double-digit amounts. And I think for Suffolk, this is going to be a rough storm. I think a lot of places will end up with a foot or more. And then east of Islip, I think you'll see blizzard conditions because you're going to be in closest proximity to the very powerful storm that'll be developing over the open Atlantic on Saturday and Saturday afternoon. So watch out for that storm track. I think any further west shift, and you're going to see these amounts go up. And by these amounts, I mean forecasted amounts that are floating out there on, with the local stations covering it. I think that's going to be the main theme over the next 24 hours to see if that happens or if we remain steady state. But for right now, just get ready for a pretty sizable snowstorm along the coast, with emphasis along the coast and in the city, less so north and west of the tri-state.